Once again, apologies for no video last week. If you've seen my YouTube page in the was it between 4 and 6 Let's Play videos of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, I've been kind of busy, and with a bunch of other stuff, like I said, didn't have the time to commit to watching and recording a vlog with everything else I had to do. But did watch last week's Ghost, and watch this week's Ghost, which are more focused around the appearance of Necrom and moving forward the Ganma world plots, and both were pretty good episodes. I like Necrom's design a lot, though, like I said, it's continuing the white antagonist Kamen Rider thing we've been having since Wizard. Wise Man, okay, I guess I shouldn't say antagonist Kamen Rider with Go and Drive, but, you know, it's the kind of same thing. They're described as the white Kamen Rider and end up being synonymous with death or otherwise. At least in Necrom's case, it's actually kind of appropriate, since he's the Kamen Rider of the Dead Realm, that is the Ganma world, as far as we're aware. And it's also getting into this cultural disparity in values, and this specific episode introduces the Ganma do I want to say General? It's the best descriptor we kind of have for him. Ganma General Igor, who is kind of comparable to Akari, and though they're kind of on the nose with the name there, considering the Frankenstein allusions we have with that. And probably doesn't help that his specific Ganma form disciple, the Knife Ganma, kind of looks steampunky. I mean, I got what they were going for with the illusion with the guy, in that they were referencing Jack the Ripper, especially with him shouting Jack Knife. Yeah. It was kind of pretty obvious, especially since he was going after women victims and attacking them in a kind of mist environment. So I like all of those allusions to Jack the Ripper. Problem is, I've been following the Fate series, and now I think of Jack the Ripper as, you know, I'm not going to even get into that. But yeah, interesting prospect for that. And after, of course, the Igor has been taking people's souls using the Knife Ganma. I wanted to say Roid Meat for some reason. After their attacks, their souls taken out of them. But the thing about this is that the way it's slashing them to do that kind of looks like what the Katana Ganma did to Karu at the beginning of the series. So there's kind of this, I don't want to say total disconnect between the two, but it kind of seems like, you know, they should be dying instead of having their soul taken, since, you know, that kind of slash was kind of plot critical at the beginning of the show. Anyways, he's doing this because, I guess, going from the conversation Akari had with him in their encounter, that the Ganma are a uniform, like, you know, kind of utopia, because they have no war and conflict amongst themselves like humans do, and they count it to human free will. And yeah, that's kind of true, kind of not. There's like, although the irony of that is that a lot of wars and conflicts break out not due to freedom, like freedom and individuality, but from a refusal to come to understanding with other people, a xenophobia and a regimency with their own side, and not seeking to communicate and understand the other. So it's kind of a yes but no. This entire Ganma conflict is kind of a microcosm of greater global conflict, in that the Ganma are uniform and see these people as weak and I kind of lost my train of thought because it kind of came out of nowhere. You know, weak and I'm forgetting the word I want to use, but they're not unified like the Ganma are, and thus they can take advantage of them to, like, I want to say, propagate their own existence, like, as the icons, because that limits them in some way. Previously, I thought it might have been something about losing their physical form, but as we're learning more about them, yeah, they're going for the Nazi allegory. Admittedly, it's been a while since they did that straight up, and since it's the 45th anniversary of Kamen Rider, I can kind of see how they're doing this with that. Especially with how they are all indistinguishable icons, which means they're all ultimately disposable, which fits how Aaron was acting last episode alongside the Mega Ululder, in that as Necrom, he needed to sacrifice other Ganma, the Ganma foot soldiers, to actually empower himself. And, like, that was kind of horrifying for Takeru, because it's not like killing or defeating someone on the opposing side and that resulting in their death. It's like he's doing it to people that should be his allies. And, you know, it's like, that's kind of a callous disregard for your own side right there. And, you know, if there's it's consistency, but it's not a good type of consistency. Like, if you're it was like my thing with Black Rex. The purported goal of the bad guys was to evacuate the people of their world to Earth because their planet was dying. It was out of resources. It was self-destructing. They had a time limit before the world everyone on it would die, and they were trying to move over, but instead of instead of doing the smart thing and, you know, negotiating with the countries of the Earth so their people would live, they just decided, no, that's not an option. They are beneath us, and we are going to conquer them. At least with them being ghosts, it makes a bit more sense where that isn't exactly an option, since not everybody can see them for them to negotiate whatever they actually want, or maybe whatever they're doing is to repopulate their numbers due to their own methods of existing, and, you know, what they do with their populace, making it so that their numbers are dropping ridiculously fast. And we don't know at this point, because the Ganma have not really been addressed as in this kind of means, and at least we're kind of sort of getting to it with their how all of their representatives are characterized for the most part, which I do like. Anyways, this episode was mainly about getting Himiko around, the Himiko icon. Historically, she was a woman who was much like what Takeru was doing, trying to unite people together. She actually succeeded, but the way she succeeded was that she had a ability to divine the future. Okay, as people are aware at this point, I don't like prophecy-driven narratives, but at least it's used in a good way, in that she sees horrible things and warns people of them so they can be stopped. That is the way I like those kinds of stories, in that they're not trying to fulfill the prophecy, they're warnings of things to avoid, and they work to avoid them and not to cause them to happen. So Himiko does not piss me off like other uses of it. Unfortunately, they don't really know Himiko's possessing someone until she comes out of the person she's possessing, and at least, you know, she's not actively possessing people. She only does it to give the prophecy through, spirit mediums, or, what's the Harry Potter reference? Who's the Trelawney? I could never actually pronounce whoever that was, and I haven't read a Harry Potter book in years. So it's not pissing me off through that, you're possessing people when you shouldn't be thing either, as there's kind of a mutually beneficial thing. She's hiding, but she's also trying to warn people of these conflicts so she's only popping up when she absolutely needs to, and then leaves the body when she finds someone that can use her powers, which Takeru does after Akari ends up attacked and having her soul stolen, and she sees Takeru's compassion for those being victimized by Igor using the souls he's taken to make them into... I don't want to say puppets because they're not having a physical form, but they're like spiritual slaves, as he releases them in a spiritual form to attack Takeru and prevent him from actually fighting off the knife Ganma. And it's due to Himiko seeing his refusal to attack people who are essentially victims of this, that she grants him her power. And real men wear pink, because the Ghost Parka this time is mainly pink, and it actually looks pretty good for the most part, because it's accented in gold, which I feel is appropriate. So, Himiko's powers are magic. She is a magical girl Ghost Parka, because it's Japan. And I'm actually amused with the "it's Japan" thing with this one. And you know, it's actually kind of good, because it's manipulating whatever this whole spirit ability things are in ways that Takeru really doesn't use much, if at all. So it's kind of a better expression of that. And hey, it's of the three boost Ghost Parkas, Goemon, Ryoma, and Himiko now, she actually shows an actual freaking special ability. Goemon, I guess, increases Takeru's speed in that form, and Ryoma does absolutely nothing as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it's not even a different arms ability or arm specialty like the more basic ghost icons. I mean, Musashi was a swordsman, so dual-wielding swords. Robin Hood, arrow. Billy the Kid, guns, makes sense. Edison was electricity. Newton was gravity manipulation. Beethoven had the singing thing. Benkei had a giant hammer, and had high defense and extreme strength at the cost of speed, but yeah, we haven't really had much of that for the boost icons, which has been a concern of mine. I wouldn't be so concerning if they used the base form Parkas on Ghost, which we're hopefully going to be seeing soon. But yeah, the last three for Takeru have been kind of lackluster. Even Houdini did something different than Makoto's other abilities, and you know, we saw with the Grim icon that even though Aran doesn't have any weapons gained from that, there was also things that Ghost Parka did that, you know, were external CGI effects with kind of the pins thing. So, oh yeah, I didn't talk about Aran's icons. He has Grim, and I'm forgetting the name of the other one he has. It's a name I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I apologize to my viewers about that. But yeah, it looks good on him too. I guess it's the contrast of white with the other colors that is making for a good blending of it. But yeah, now all of the icons are in people's hands, and aside from Grateful and Mugen, that's pretty much all the form changes. Oh, and not just Mugen, whatever Makoto's final form upgrade is going to be, because they've said he's going to have another one. Granted, it's not like he can go searching for that right now, as he is currently possessed by the Necrom icon, due to a fight with Iran in this episode. And Makoto keeps getting his ass handed to him as of late. It's kind of like, what's that trope about that, where someone who started off a badass just turns into a weenie quickly? It's kind of irritating in that respect, in that he's kind of Mr. McUseless at the moment. I mean, we had a bit of this with Go last season, but not to the same degree as Go still had ways to strengthen himself through belief, and hey, he mastered Dead Heat, and that was a significant accomplishment. That's everything I've got for the moment. Though, with Makoto possessed by Necrom, I'm expecting a conflict between the two to pop up in the next few episodes, especially since with all of the Icon gets stories out of the way, now that it can actually focus more on the main story. And this was kind of Drive's problem last year as well, in that it wasn't until the 20s that the story really got going, and that was problematic for many, as you've wasted almost half your show and not really seeded much of the plot. You need to actually have it ongoing for people to keep interested in the serialized story. So that's kind of the failing of the current era with how they over-gimmickize it, and I'll agree it's starting to wear on me. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I got for this one. Ultimately good episode, but, it's the same kind of problematic stuff that's been occurring as of late. Ninja ended, so I am going to be checking out Zoojer when it premieres next week, but we're going to kind of run into a snag. See, I am going to MagFest next week. I've kind of been teasing at it on Twitter and in other means elsewhere, but the thing about that is I will be traveling Wednesday, and I will be at the con Thursday, and so, yeah, I'm either, depending on when the subs for these episodes up, I'm going to either have to do this very early Tuesday and then post it as soon as I can, or I'm going to have to do it in my hotel room with the people I'm staying with, which, multiple perspectives on the premiere, that'd be nice, but worst comes to worst, I might not have anything at all next week. Best case scenario is probably potentially Friday. I'm not certain what will happen, so my thoughts might end up being delayed longer than I'd like. As usual, thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you.